Before there was a single mountain, before any star had a name, I am. And this story I'm about to share, it is my story. But it wasn't written on stone tablets. It was written in the struggling, fragile heart of a man named Jacob. It's a story all about my grace and how it shows up in the middle of human weakness so that you, right now, might see my strength.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt it, that sharp sting of betrayal? The deep, hollowing ache of being unloved? Have you ever tried to run from your past, only to have it catch right up with you? I need you to hear this. I see you, all of it. The brokenness you're feeling is not a mystery to me. Your journey, just like Jacob's, is one I am watching over with a perfect, unending love.
So I sent Jacob, the deceiver, the trickster, away into exile. He thought he was just fleeing from his angry brother. But what was really happening? He was running straight toward the destiny I had for him. He was looking for a wife, sure, but I was leading him on a much, much greater journey. A journey to find out that his true home wasn't a place on a map, but a person, me.
Imagine this. Jacob is at a well in a foreign land, and then he sees her, Rachel. And in that moment, his heart was completely captured. That powerful driving love he felt, that was a gift from me. It's just a tiny echo of the boundless love I have for my creation. And for that love, he was willing to work for 7 long years.
Isn't it amazing what love can do? For Jacob, all those years of hard, back-breaking labor felt like just a few days, all because of how much he loved Rachel. This is just a shadow, a little glimpse of the joy that's waiting for those who love me. But here's the thing. Human plans, even the best ones, operate inside my world. Jacob's plan was simple. Mine was far, far deeper.
And here's where the tables turned. Jacob, the man who deceived his own father, found himself deceived in the dark of a wedding tent. His uncle Laban promised him Rachel, but gave him Leah instead. The deceiver was deceived. Now, this wasn't random chaos. It was my perfect, righteous hand at work, weaving even human sin into my grand design. I ordained it so that Jacob would taste the very same bitterness he had caused.
From that single act of deception, a home filled with pain was born. A husband's heart was torn, and 2 sisters became locked in a bitter, painful rivalry. And yet, it was on this loom of human sorrow that I began to weave the very fabric of a nation.
I saw Leah, the unloved one, with her tender eyes and an aching heart, and in my great compassion for her, I opened her womb. I also saw Rachel, so beautiful, so loved by her husband, but she was barren, and envy was eating her alive. So to one I gave sons, to the other a husband's deep affection. I did this to show that every single life has incredible value to me, and I alone am the giver of every good gift.
Now you have to see the hidden purpose in all this. Through Leah, the unloved wife, came a son named Judah, which means praise. And from Judah's line, I would bring forth the King of Kings, the Messiah. Then, through Rachel, the beloved wife, came Joseph. His life of suffering would one day save his entire family, a perfect picture of the Savior. Do you see? From their pain, I brought forth 2 threads of redemption, the line of the King and the story of the suffering servant, both pointing directly to my son, Jesus.
So this family grew right in the middle of all this striving and jealousy. The handmaids Bilhah and Zilpah, they bore sons. Leah had even more, and then I remembered Rachel. I heard her desperate cry, and I gave her Joseph. 12 sons, all born out of conflict and heartache. Yet every single one was a stone I was putting in place to build my nation, Israel.
Jacob, ever the schemer, came up with this clever plan with peeled sticks to try and get more speckled and spotted animals from Laban's flock. He really thought his own ingenuity was what was making him rich. But his little strategy, that was a shadow. The real substance of his blessing, the real source, was coming from my hand and my hand alone.
And through all this, I brought him to the truth. In the end, Jacob himself had to admit it. It wasn't his cunning plans. He said, "God has taken away your father's cattle and given them to me." He finally learned what everyone must learn. True blessing isn't something you scheme for, it's something you receive from me.
After 20 long years, Jacob's time of service was over. I let things get sour in that foreign land. I removed the comfort because it was time. It was time for him to go home.
And then I spoke to him directly. My voice, clear as day, "Return to the land of your fathers, and I will be with you." This was so much more than a command. It was a covenant promise.
And it's the very same promise I'm extending to you right now, if you feel you're in a foreign land of your own making. Return to me, and I will be with you.
But leaving the past behind is never quite that simple, is it? As they fled, Rachel stole her father's little household gods, worthless idols. Even with my promise of absolute protection, she still clung to the false security of things made by human hands. Doesn't that sound familiar? How often do you trust in things that have no power to save you instead of the one who does?
Laban was furious. He chased after Jacob, burning with rage. But I pursued Laban. I came to him in a dream, and I put a guard on his tongue. I commanded him, "Take heed that you don't speak to Jacob either good or bad." I made it perfectly clear, Jacob was under my divine protection, and no weapon formed against those I call my own will ever prosper.
So when they finally met face to face, Jacob's fear was gone, replaced by a righteous anger. He let it all pour out. For 20 years I served you. I bore the losses. I endured the scorching heat by day and the freezing frost by night. I went without sleep. And you changed my wages 10 times? He declared loud and clear that if it weren't for me, the God of his father, Laban would have sent him away with nothing. And he was right. I saw his struggle. I saw his hard work, and I was the one who stood up for him.
And so they made a covenant. They piled up stones as a boundary marker, a Mizpah, which means a watchtower. It was their solemn promise to stay separated. But it was also something more. It was their admission that, even when they couldn't see each other, I, the Lord, would be there, watching between them. I am the eternal witness. I see everything.
Now, don't for a second think this is just some ancient history lesson. This story was written down for you. Jacob's entire life is meant to be a mirror for your own soul.
Think about it. He was a wanderer, an exile, and he spent his entire life on a long, complicated journey back to the home I had promised him. And you were also born into a kind of exile, separated from me by sin. Your heart longs for a home it has never truly known, a peace this world can never give. Your entire life is a journey home, to me.
Jacob's story is just a whisper of the gospel that I would one day shout from the cross. The blessing he had to steal, my son Jesus earned for you. The years of hard labor he served, Jesus paid that debt in full with his own life. The way home he was desperately searching for, Jesus became that way. He is the way, the truth, and the life. Because of his sacrifice, the exile is over. The way back to me, your father, is open.
Jacob wrestled and was changed forever. Leah prayed and was heard. Rachel longed for a child and was remembered. Your journey doesn't have to be about striving and scheming. It can be about surrender. So stop running. Stop clinging to those worthless idols. Return. Your journey home to me begins the very moment you decide to seek me with all your heart. Seek me now.